In the name of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Amen.
I'm always wary of those Gospels that talk about priests and scribes liking to wear long robes. Fancy things, particularly since I have tassels on this morning. I think the more important portion of the Gospel is the end. And we probably know it as the story of the widow's mite. That person who gave all that she had to God. How to do that is a huge struggle, and probably one of the greatest things that we struggle with in our lives. And I'd like to sort of approach it this Veterans Day weekend with a little bit of a twist, and you probably never would think that I would open a sermon with a quote from Billy Ray Cyrus. And it's not achy breaky heart. It's another line he had. All gave some, and some gave all. And this Veterans Day weekend, I think we really can embrace that idea that all veterans gave some. And indeed, some did give all, whether it be their life or sometimes it's their mind that they gave all, as we see take place sometimes in our world, particularly this week. And it brings into my memory, of course, as at every Veterans Day weekend I do, I always mention my father, who was a great veteran of the Korean War, and that was a huge part of his life. And I wanted to bring in a couple things to show you. You're going to notice this little figurine here. My father said they're not toy soldiers, they're military miniatures. And he created these. I mean, he actually built them and painted them, and he researched out all of the different colors all across the American Revolution of every battle. I have 3,000 of these at home in my collection in cases around my house. And this is one of his favorites. He loved to paint this over and over, and it's called a Green Mountain Boy. And this is the National Guard of the state of Vermont, the Green Mountain Boys. And he's wearing a green coat and has the red epaulets and red turnbacks on the coat, which signify that's exactly who this soldier is. And I have him sitting in front of an antique print that used to be in my dad's study of the hero of Vermont, Ethan Allen. No, he didn't build furniture. He and his brother, Ira Allen, founded the state of Vermont and founded the University of Vermont in 1791. Ethan, on the other hand, during the Revolutionary War, he crossed Lake Champlain over to Fort Ticonderoga and took the fort without a shot being fired in the middle of the night, seized the cannon of the fort, shipped it down in the winter on sleds to George Washington in Boston, and that was the artillery that freed Boston from the British. So he was called the hero of Vermont. My father would often joke, though, that Ethan was really in a pub in Bennington getting a little bit buzzed, but some of his friends decided they were going to go do this. So never quite know the reality of these stories. But Ethan is called the hero of Vermont. So, all giving some and some giving all. How does that relate to us as disciples? We, I believe, are always trying to give some of ourselves to God. Just like the people in the synagogue giving of themselves, but giving all, and I'm not talking about finances here. I mean, It was stewardship time, and it always is, I guess, stewardship time. I don't want to talk about finances, I want to talk about spirituality right now. Giving of ourselves all to God. That is what is so hard to do. Giving all we have, struggling to give our being to God. I mean, how tough is that? I mean, that's so huge. But those moments when we can, those moments when we do, we get back more than we've given. I don't know about you, but the times in my life when I've been able to do it, and I'm not going to stand up here in my tassels and tell you it's frequent, but the times I've been able to give all of myself in a situation to God, I find God gives me back more than I've been able to give. Because the space I've opened up in giving, God fills greater than what I've offered. And that is an extraordinary thing because God is the ultimate source of abundance and grace. God can give more than we can begin to imagine. So as we struggle to give some and we seek to give all, we have given ourselves into a tremendous place of genuine love, compassion, forgiveness. A God whose compulsion, as C.S. Lewis would say, a God whose compulsion is our liberation from what we need to be liberated from. Got an email from the Society of St. John the Evangelist this week saying, "Are you looking for Lenten resources this year?" I thought, Lent? We haven't gotten through Christmas yet, and we're just getting into Advent. But if you'd like an Advent resource, that got me figuring how I'm going to wrap this up. Advent resources. There's a wonderful little book by Henry Nouwen called Reaching Out. And it's the 3 movements of the spiritual life. And I recommend it to you very highly and very succinctly. It says that the 3 movements of the spiritual life are looking within oneself and trying to find peace there. Reaching out to others and trying to help others find peace in their lives. And then through that process, encountering God. And it's a 3-part process because we can get trapped in ourselves. We can get trapped in trying to give to others. But it's the combination of those 2 that lead us to the place that is closest to God. So reaching out and finding God is reaching in, reaching to our neighbor, and then discovering the holy in our midst. My friends, blessings as we all try to give some. Blessings on those moments when we somehow manage to give all. And blessings upon all those who have given some and given all in our world.